Not understanding, will they even understand? Okay guys, acha niendeni home, nitarudi tena. What? Okay, hope mnafollow hii story juu nyinyi ndo mtanisaidia. Acha kucheka, hii kiti ni moto. What? I actually never thought nitaifanya kitu kama hii. Guys, and it was going well. Hey, this is actually not easy. Okay, sikizeni. Hadi maybe hii ni yenyu, si ya hawa. Kai, guys. Easy masiku msiaisahau. After this, nitapigia to my friend. Hey, this is hard. Nifika wapi? Hadi nyadi amfuati story. Aufuati, nimefika wapi? Yes. Hey, God, this is racy. Ever felt lost in your faith journey? You're not alone. Hello, beloveds. I'm Rachel Njoku, and welcome to Paving My Community. Here we have open and honest conversations about faith, purpose, and relationships as Christians. No filters, just real people, real stories, and real growth. Let's get started. So today I'm going to take you through leaning on God. And what is leaning on God? You can also let me know in your comment section what leaning on God means to you. So for me, leaning on God actually just means surrendering to God, allowing Him to be the leader in each and every single sphere of your life, be it mentally, be it emotionally, be it physically, be it relationally, be it financially. You're just allowing Him to be the controller of your life. There are a lot of people in the Bible who leaned on to God, but today I'm going to measure on in the life of Joseph, since I believe Joseph is one of those people in the Bible who just surrendered his life to Christ. So Joseph grew up as a shepherd to his father's flock, and at the age of 17 years, he had received two dreams, in which in his dreams he had seen that he will be leading, or he will be ruling over his family members, or I can say his brothers. But also during that period of time, his brothers were not that okay with him, since majority of the time Joseph actually used to go and tell his father regarding the things that his brothers were doing. And I know I can call it like he was being a spy of his brothers to the dad. And due to that, his brothers actually did not like him, and one day they actually plotted to kill him. But Reuben and Judah, they made suggestions in which they stated that the brother should not be killed, but each and every single one of them gave an idea of what they should do with his life. And for Judah, he had seen the traders passing over there, and they were heading over to Egypt. And he requested for his brothers if at least they could sell him to the traders, and in exchange of that, they will be given 20 silvers of coins. And that's what they did. So they sold Joseph, and Joseph went to Egypt. But actually Joseph didn't know that this is going to be like a new chapter which is going to enter, and also through him going to Egypt, it's going to bring a lot of help to his family. But he actually didn't know that. And in our lives, majority of us are like that. In our deepest pits, majority of the time, we normally don't know that that's where we are going to like get to the end of the tunnel, which has a lot of light in it. And once Joseph was taken to Egypt by the traders, he was sold to Potiphar, and he actually got to be the servant of Potiphar. And when he went there, he actually got favor in the eyes of Potiphar, and he was actually made to be the first servant that got to do each and every single thing in the Potiphar's house. And also during this period, the Potiphar's wife had an eye for Joseph. And since Joseph had a lot of respect to the Potiphar himself, he actually did not want to do anything with the wife. So one day, as Joseph was cleaning around the house, Potiphar went to the room, and Potiphar also at that time, she was trying to take advantage of Joseph. But since Joseph didn't want that, and also remember at that time, Joseph was actually leaning on God. Like at that time, his ears, I believe each and every single part of him was just allowing himself to hear what the Lord wants him to do. And so, as I said, Joseph had a lot of respect to Potiphar himself, and also Joseph had fear of the Lord, and due to that, he removed his robe since he didn't want to partake in whatever the Potiphar's wife wanted him to do. So Joseph left the robe within the room, and he ran out. And once he did that, Potiphar's wife started yelling or screaming within the room. And once the servants came to have a look at her, she was like, Joseph was here and he tried taking advantage of me, and she said a lot of things. And once the message reached to Potiphar, Joseph was taken to the prison. And once he was in the prison cell, the warden who was there was able to have favor upon him. And due to that, Joseph was made to be the servant of each and every single person who was there. And the people who were there were the chief baker, the wine steward, whom had been brought there by the king. And they were brought there since they had offended the king. And while they were there, both the wine steward and the chief baker had dreams. And once they were able to tell Joseph their dreams, Joseph was able to interpret them. And once that was done, after 3 days, both the chief baker and the wine steward were released from prison. The chief baker was killed by the king as the dream was interpreted by Joseph, and the wine steward was taken back by the king. So he was able to be reinstated his position at the palace. And during the period of the time that the wine steward was leaving the prison, Joseph mentioned to him that once he goes back to the palace, he should mention his name to the king. And 2 years passed, and that's not what the wine steward did. And just remember, those 2 years were the same 2 years that Joseph was still in the prison. And he was in the prison with an allegation that he even did not even do or even try to partake in. And there was a time now that the king himself required an interpretation of a dream. And alas, the wine steward now remembered, there was this guy who we were in the prison cell with, and he interpreted my dream. And he also mentioned that to the king, and now that's when Joseph was called to the king. And once he interpreted the king's dream, which was mainly about the 7 years of famine, 7 years of good harvest, and 7 years of famine, he again got to have favor before the eyes of Joseph. So one thing about Joseph, even when he was in the prison, when he was being a servant to Potiphar, one thing he did was he surrendered to God. he let himself hear what God wants him to do, and like he just surrendered to Christ. So Joseph got to surrender to God during each and every single sphere of his life that he was able to partake in. And then after that, the king himself chose Joseph to be the governor of Egypt. And behold, this is what Joseph had been given as a vision by God when he was only 17 years, and it came to pass when he was 30 years. So I can say, like, from the age of 17 to 30, that was like a waiting season in his life. That was a whole 13 years of just waiting on God. And was it easy? No, it was not easy. And even if it wasn't easy, did he surrender to God? Yes, he did. Did he have the fear of the Lord? Yes, he did. And was he obedient to God? Yes, he did. Even if he didn't know of the circumstances that will become of him later on in life. And that's one thing I loved about his story. And I was like, what if it could be me? I'm in my waiting season for like 13 years. Will I still have faith in God? Will I still be obedient? Will I still serve Him and serve others in a genuine manner? Yeah, so once, and the reason also why Joseph was chosen, it's because he was also in line with God. So that means that he used to get each and every single information from God, because there was a point he even mentioned to the king that interpretation of dreams does not come from the power of man, but it does come from the power of God himself. So yeah, so he did each and every single thing according to God. He didn't do things according to his own understanding. And as humans right now, majority of the time, also me, I'm also part of that. We can do things according to our own understanding, and we don't leave God to like take over our lives and all that. So yeah, so once Joseph was a governor, since he had already been interpreted to the dream by God himself, he knew that the 7 years that he was a governor, he needs to keep or store the harvest that they had, and after 7 years, famine would come. So that is exactly what he did, and he also communicated it to each and every single person within the country. And after 7 years, famine came, and each and every single country now was coming to Egypt. And now that's the period that his family in Canaan came to Egypt now to look for food. And now when his brothers came, he recognized them, but the brothers had not recognized him. And each and every single thing again that was in the vision, that is what was able to be seen, because there was a time now they had come, then they bowed down, and now Joseph was the leader. Like, all these things, I don't know the visions that God has actually given you, and right now it may seem that it can't happen, but I just want to tell you that you need to have faith, and you just actually have to surrender to God. So once the brothers were there in Egypt, that was just a manifestation of the vision that Joseph was given 13 years ago. And during that time, the brothers themselves, they weren't aware of who the governor of Egypt was. And there were a lot of things that happened during that time. As I mentioned earlier on, Joseph had recognized the brothers, and due to that, he had not seen his younger brother Benjamin. And once he saw that, he had to make sure that Benjamin had been brought to Egypt. And since Joseph wanted to see his brother Benjamin, due to that, he plotted against his brothers, in which one of the brothers had to be put into the cell, and his name was Simeon, and the others had to go and get Benjamin. But also, during that time when he did that, he gave them food so that at least they can take to their family members. And that's actually what happened. And once the brothers went back to Canaan, they told Jacob regarding the situation and how the governor wanted to see the youngest brother and all that. And Benjamin was actually, after some few period of time, Benjamin was actually taken to Egypt, and Joseph got to see him. And that's when Joseph now revealed to the brothers that I am your brother, like I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold to the traders, and all that. Yeah. So once that was done, the brothers had now to go back to Canaan and tell their father Jacob that your son is still alive and now he's the governor of Egypt. Jacob went to Egypt now when he heard that his son was there, and during this period of time now they had to take each and every single thing that they had, and now they went now to relocate in Goshen, which was in Egypt. And also that land of Goshen, that was the land that the king himself offered to them. And yeah, so the story of Joseph actually depicts of how we should wait on God during be it any season that you're in. You should wait upon God, you should have faith in God, you should surrender yourself to God, and you should let God be your leader. You should just let God put light in your area. I don't know if you're in school, if you're in your workspace, in each and every single assignment that God has given you, you just need to be courageous, you need to be confident, because he who lives in you is greater than whoever is in the world. So yeah, I hope this episode gets to bless all of you. And yeah, I can't also wait to hear some of your comments there in the comment section regarding leaning on God, surrendering to God. If you have any queries, you can always reach us. We do have our social media platform in IG. We're just Paving Way Community. And also you can just leave your comment there in the comment section. So have a lovely time, and let's get to see each other in the other episode.